Good evening once again. Welcome back to the Sullivan Center and the home of the University of St. Francis, who today takes on Indiana Northwest in the season basketball opener. Terry Bonadonna with you as the Fighting Saints open things up with a conference game. Lewis Holy ready for the opening tip. He'll be going up against Tremont Weston of Indiana Northwest. The Saints in white today, going from right to left in the first half. The Red Hawks, appropriately enough, in red, going from left to right, and the season opens with a tip won by the Fighting Saints as Mitch Quasigro takes it to the basket and misses on the layup. Running down quickly to the other side, it's Richard Robertson for Indiana Northwest, nearly taken away by Malik Bailey. Red Hawks will try it again. On the outside, Marshad Watkins passes around to the right. Chris Robinson up top to Richard Robertson. Now Rashad Richardson. Watkins fakes, now drives down the lane, puts it up off the backboard, no good. Rebound Lewis Holy. Holy slips to the ground, but he kept his dribble. And he gives it up to Eric Ting. Eric Ting, Mitch Quasigro, as the ball is thrown away by the Fighting Saints. Lewis Holy, Cole Mysick, Malik Bailey, the five starters for the Saints today, as the three-pointer drains for Marshad Watkins. And we've got our first 3 points of the night. Indiana Northwest takes the lead. Starters for the Red Hawks today, Marshad Watkins, Richard Robertson, Tremont Weston, Rashad Richardson, and Chris Robinson. Malik Bailey for the answer. No good, a little bit too long. Rebound is brought in by the guard, Rashad Richardson. Richard Robertson for three, got it. 2 in a row for Indiana Northwest. They've hit two from the outside, and they take a quick 6-0 lead. Great start for the Red Hawks today. See if Eric Ting can respond for the Fighting Saints. Ting dribbles it inside, loses possession in a sea of red, and then a foul is called on Indiana Northwest. So the Saints catch their first break as the foul is called on Richard Robertson, junior guard from Fort Wayne, Indiana. First foul of the game. Nothing much going on over the first minute and a half for St. Francis. Eric Ting lost that ball, but he gets it back for the Fighting Saints thanks to the foul called. So Ting is underneath. And he tosses into Lewis Holy, given right back to Ting, who fakes the three. Now drives down the lane, bounced into the corner for Bailey. Bailey along the baseline, blocked from behind. Ball loose along the baseline and out of bounds. Last touched by Tremont Weston, who knocked the ball out of the hands of Bailey. 10 on the shot clock. It stays with the Saints. Frenetic possession so far for St. Francis, but not much going on to the hoop. Not yet been able to get a solid shot off as Quasigro underneath bounces to Holy, and Holy lays it in. Saints are on the board. Lewis Holy has the first 2 points of the 2019-20 season for St. Francis. They trail by 4. Marshad Watkins holds it outside for the Red Hawks. Watkins crosses over to the left, passes that way into the corner. Richardson for three. He misses short. Offensive rebound. Putback is good by Tremont Weston. 6-point lead for the Red Hawks. Eric Ting gives it to Malik Bailey. Bailey on the left wing. Passes back up top to Ting. Bounced over to the right elbow. Quasigro hands it to Ting. Behind his back to Quasigro, and Mitch Quasigro hits the three. First three-pointer for St. Francis. First bucket for Quasigro. They're within 3. This is Richardson on the left wing, guarded by Cole Mysick. Down into the corner for Marshad Watkins. Thrown down behind the basket, and Lewis Holy tries to take it away. Can't keep it in bounds, though. The ball belongs to Indiana Northwest underneath the hoop. Chris Robinson set to toss it in. And a foul called. Mysick got tangled up with Rashad Richardson. And a foul is going to go on Cole Mysick. That's his first and the team's first. 17:10 to play. First half, Indiana Northwest with a 3-point lead. Inbounds the ball. Sent into Richard Robertson. 3-point attempt. Misses short. Rebound brought in by Quasigro. Ting working quickly down the floor. Into the corner for Bailey. Bailey gets contact going down the baseline, and a blocking foul is called against Tromond Weston. That foul was on the floor. So an inbounds play from down low coming up from Eric Ting. Second foul on Indiana Northwest. First on Weston. Into the corner for Misick. Misick pulls the trigger quickly and misses short on the three-point attempt. Indiana Northwest flying down the floor. Richard Robertson to the basket. No good. Pressured from behind. Not sure if that ball was blocked or not, but Indiana Northwest did get it back. Reverse layup is good from Richardson. 10-5. Indiana Northwest doubling up St. Francis in the early going here. Eric Ting passes to Malik Bailey. Swung around to the left wing. Ting with some contact away from the ball and a foul called, I believe, on Marshad Watkins. Third foul against Indiana Northwest. Watkins checks out. Martellin Gibson comes in. Eric Ting will inbound from the baseline. 16:29 to play first half. 10-5. Indiana Northwest on top. Quasigro hands it off to Ting. Three-point attempt. Rims out. And it's thrown away by Indiana Northwest. Richard Robertson was looking deep down the floor. He could not find anybody. It ends up sailing out of bounds. Josh Cherry over to inbound for the Fighting Saints. Cherry in off the bench. One of a host of transfers on this St. Francis roster. He inbounds it to another one, Eric Ting. Both Cherry and Ting are juniors. Here's Mitch Quasigro. He was a transfer last year, now a senior in his second year with the program. Hands it off to Misick. Misick backs down, out to Quasigro. Another three. Not this time for Mitch Quasigro. Richard Robertson flies down the floor for Indiana Northwest. Gives it up along the baseline to Nick Pacino, who gets the roll. And Nick Pacino has his first 2 points. Indiana Northwest by 7. 12-5 is the score. Their biggest lead yet. Saints a little bit cold from the field to start today as Bailey bounces down low for Quasigro. Out to Cherry, just inside the three-point line. Cherry gives it up. Thrown away, intended for Quasigro. It's intercepted by Martellin Gibson. Here's Pacino, fouled, going to the basket. A runner along the baseline, missed it on an air ball, but he drew the contact, and he goes to the line for 2 shots. Nick Pacino, 6'7" tall junior center, making his second appearance at the free throw line this year. He had both attempts in his first outing, and he rims out on the first attempt this time. Makes him 2 for 3 on the season. Jordan Thornton checks in for St. Francis. Jarrett Gamazel comes off the bench as well as the second free throw falls for Pacino. Jordan Thornton handling the point guard duties right now. Thornton started a couple of years ago for St. Francis. Played well off the bench last season. This is Malik Bailey pulling up inside the free throw line, passing out to Quasigro. Another three-point attempt from Quasigro, no good. Offensive rebound, Cherry, and he's fouled on the floor. Foul called on Nick Pacino, number 22. The Fighting Saints will inbound from underneath the basket. Saints trying to heat up from the outside. Just 2 of 9 from the field so far. Make it 2 of 10 as Jarrett Gamazel misses on the three-pointer following the inbounds pass. Indiana Northwest basketball, and an offensive foul is called. Another one on Pacino. That's 2 in a row. Nick Pacino called for 2 fouls in the span of about 15 seconds. So he'll have to check out. Jason Peace enters. It's P-E-A-C-E. Very lovely name. Marshad Watkins is back in as well. Mazel up top to Bailey. Malik Bailey near the midcourt circle. Bounces and passes to the right. Jordan Thornton on the wing. Thornton gets the screen, pulls up just inside the arc, long two, in and out. A clean look there for Thornton. Shot looked good, made it halfway down, but didn't stay. Left side three-point attempt is good. That's Jason Peace with his first three. And a big lead for Indiana Northwest, up by 11, just 5:45 into the game. St. Francis just can't find the bottom of the basket right now. Really struggling with the shot. It's Jordan Thornton on the left wing. Around a screen from Quasigro, gives it back to Quasigro, passes to Jordan Thornton. Quasigro just inside the three-point arc, fires a long two-pointer and hits it. 5 points for Quasigro, all on jumpers for the big man. He gets the Saints back on the board, ending an 8-0 Indiana Northwest run. There's a foul on Malik Bailey. Getting a little over-aggressive on defense, trying to spark a St. Francis run. He tried to jump the pass to Marshad Watkins, ended up knocking Watkins down. Subs coming on for the Fighting Saints. Lewis Holy is back in. They also bring in Arnold Agard for the first time. And Joey Bajemi. Down by 9 points. Saints have been reliant on the outside shots early. Lewis Holy typically a good inside presence. We'll see if they're able to get something closer to the basket going forward, as they have struggled with the jump shot. Indiana Northwest has not, shooting a high percentage early on with a 9-point lead. Watkins drives, fadeaway jumper, no good. Here come the Saints. The Maisel inside for Holy. Holy double team. The ball is stripped by Alex Constanders, but the Saints get it back. 15 on the shot clock. It's Agard down the baseline. Offensive foul. Alex Constanders took the charge. It's a turnover committed by St. Francis and a timeout called by Indiana Northwest. 13-12 to go first half. So far, it's been the visiting team showing itself better over the first 6 and 48 seconds. And now they call a timeout, and the Saints will try to regain their bearings during that timeout. Saints shooting just 25% so far. They're 1 of 7 from beyond the three-point arc. Indiana Northwest, 6 of 11 overall, 3 of 5 on the outside shots. The Fighting Saints just haven't quite had the shooting touch so far today that they've been looking for. Saints entered play today with the number 19 ranking in the country. Preseason poll, of course. They're playing their first game of the season tonight. Indiana Northwest embroiled in their second battle. They won their opener, a tight one against Aquinas College. Trying to improve to 2-0 tonight. Off to a good start, but a long way to go here as we're back underway. Marshad Watkins across the half-court stripe. Hands it off to Martellin Gibson. Gibson drives, gets in close, and throws it away. The ball is loose, and Lewis Holy comes away with the steal. There's Jordan Thornton firing it ahead to Agard. Agard is called for another charge. That's 2 in a row on him. Back-to-back charges called against Agard. He's got 2 fouls. That's 5 on the team. Both teams have had 5 fouls called against them. Just 7 minutes and 10 seconds in. So a very physical start to this game. We're nearing the bonus for both teams. Agard stays into this 2 fouls. Here's Constanders. Over to Martellin Gibson. Gibson drives to the hoop. He lays it in. Over the outstretched hand of Lewis Holy. 11-point lead once again for Indiana Northwest. That matches their high for the game. Saints work the ball around the perimeter. Thornton in the corner, drives into the lane, gives it up to Holy. Holy tries to put it in from underneath, but he's grabbed by Tromon Weston. Weston is called for his second foul. Holy is going to go to the free throw line. Lewis Holy takes the first free throws of the season. for St. Francis a year ago. He was a solid foul shooter, 80%. He makes the first one here. More subs for the Fighting Saints as Eric Ting returns. And we got our first look at Carlos Tavares. .12:13 to play. First half, 18-8 is our score. And Lewis Holy's got one more free throw coming. He's got them both. Back to a single-digit deficit for St. Francis. They've tightened up defensively these last few minutes, trying to get into an offensive rhythm right now. This is Jason Peace bouncing it down low. Watkins' turnaround jumper is good from close range. Here comes Eric Ting for St. Francis. Ting bounces to the right, passes over to Tobias. On the right side of the floor. He starts his drive, spins into the lane, pulls up, passes outside. Ting gets down low, on the run, he rolls it in. First 2 points for Eric Ting. Now it's Indiana Northwest in possession. Richard Robertson hassled, he gives it up to Jason Peace. Back to Robertson. Robertson pulls up 14 feet out and passes back behind the three-point line to Watkins. 11 on the shot clock. It's Richardson posting up. Turnaround jumper, air ball. Rebounded by Jordan Thornton. Thornton splits a couple of defenders, passes it outside. Ting drives from the wing. Layup from Ting. A little bit too strong off the glass on the rebound to the Red Hawks. 9-point lead for Indiana Northwest, 9 minutes in. Thrown away and out of bounds. That was Richardson looking for Watkins. He couldn't find him. Chris Robinson back in for Indiana Northwest. Eric Ting handles the point guard duties for St. Francis here as Ting walks it up to the three-point line. Swung around to the right side, Jordan Thornton. Thornton gets a screen, steps into a three-pointer and drains it. Second three-point attempt connected on by St. Francis. And now Jordan Thornton jumps in front of the pass and gets the steal. Layup on the other end is good. 5 points in the blink of an eye for Jordan Thornton, and the Saints are within 4. And now another near steal and a held ball call. Carlos Tavares got in the way that time. Forced the possession arrow to be called upon. It's facing Indiana, but it flips over to the Saints side now, so a big defensive play. Shot clock is at 22 as the Red Hawks inbound it into the backcourt. Chris Robinson passes around to the left side into the corner. Gibson back up to Robinson. Now Peace on the right. Bounces down low. Richardson backs in, and Richardson walks. They're going the other way. 4-point lead for Indiana Northwest. 9:56 to play in the first half. Red Hawks have been up by as many as 11. Saints are on a roll here. Eric Ting, though, trips and loses the ball. Picked up by Richard Robertson. An easy layup on the other end. He missed it, but Richardson there with the foul. That missed layup, though, fired up the crowd a little bit. Got him back into it. See if that benefits St. Francis, who currently trails by 6. Jordan Thornton drives, gets to the hoop, and draws the foul. Thornton heads to the line with a chance to get the lead down to 5 or maybe back to 4, where it was a moment ago at 20-16. Thornton is 76% free throw shooter last season. He averaged 7 points per game. He makes the first free throw here. Quasigro and Cherry back out onto the floor. Second free throw for Jordan Thornton makes it 22-18. 7 points for Jordan Thornton. He's provided a great spark for the Fighting Saints off the bench. Here's Chris Robinson walking it across half court. He bounces over to Richard Robertson. Back to Robinson. Half the shot clock is gone as the ball is lobbed down low for Richardson. No good on his shot, but the tip-in falls for Martellin Gibson. Redhawks back up by 6. Eric Ting walks it to the left side. Ting hounded by Richard Robertson. Struggling to get around him, now finally blows past, kicks it out to Quasigro. Three-pointer rims out. Rebound to Robertson. Robertson stumbles slightly, keeps it going though. Passes ahead for Robinson, and a foul is called. Foul on the floor against St. Francis. That one goes on Mitch Quasigro. It's the 6th foul on the team. So it does not put St. Francis over the limit yet. They are at the limit now though. This is inbounds play from the baseline. Robinson wide open in the corner, misses short on the three. Offensive rebound, a battle for the steal, and Nick Pacino's able to keep it. Passes outside. Here's a three-point attempt. Misses from Gibson and bounces over the backboard and off of the shot clock. So that's out of bounds. It's turnover. Not a turnover. It was a missed shot, but it does go St. Francis's way as it kicked out. Cole Mysick is back in for the Fighting Saints. Eric Ting, junior transfer from Taiwan originally. Bounces over to Mitch Quasigro. And off to Thornton. Thornton for three. He got it. Jordan Thornton stays hot. He's got 10. And he is single-handedly keeping St. Francis in the game right now. A trap and a foul call. Foul on Thornton, I believe. And that's the team's 7th. So Richard Robertson is going to go to the free throw line. Jordan Thornton checks out with 2 fouls. Malik Bailey comes back in. Great work by Thornton, though. His 10 points put St. Francis back in the game after they didn't show a whole lot of life offensively over the first several minutes. 1-1 for Robertson. First one misses short. The rebound goes to Quasigro. Here's Quasigro on the run in the corner for Mysick. Mysick drives and kicks. Bailey fakes it, dribbles in, kicks out. Cherry for 3. He's fouled. Shot missed, but he'll get 3 free throws and a chance to tie the score. We have not been tied today. Indiana Northwest scored the first 5 points. They've held the lead ever since. 7:38 to play in the first half. And Cherry will not be able to tie the score from the free throw line here as he misses the first free throw, but two more shots still to come. He missed the second free throw as well. Jason Peace is in for Nick Pacino on Indiana Northwest side. third and final free throw attempt is good. So Cherry makes 1 of 3. St. Francis is just 2 points down. This is as close as they've been. Richard Robertson on the left side, guarded by Ting. Passes off, swung around to the right side, Peeps. Back up top, Robinson. Robinson drives on Misick. His shot misses off the back iron. Rebounded by Mitch Quasigrove. Here comes Ting, flying down the floor. Ting's layup ties the score. Eric Ting, coast to coast, and it's 24 all. Indiana Northwest has led by as many as 11 here in the first half. That lead has dissipated in a hurry. Under 7 minutes to play until halftime. 3-point attempt for Rashad Richardson. Puts the Redhawks back in front, and a full timeout is called by Indiana Northwest. They lead 27-24. They got off to a hot start tonight, scoring the first 5 points, building an 11-point lead a couple of different times. But St. Francis has come back, sparked by their reserve senior guard, Jordan Thornton, who's got 10 points on 3 of 4 shooting. The rest of the team so far tonight, just 5 of 15 from the field. But Thornton has really kept them in it. Indiana Northwest shooting well all around, and they've got contributions offensively already from 7 different players. Got off to a great start in this game, and they've slowed down, but just hit the 3-pointer. Rashad Richardson, which gives him 5 points for the game, and allows head coach Javier Heredia to call a timeout. Heredia in his 4th season manning the Redhawks. Ryan Marks now in season number 7 for St. Francis, coming off of one of his better years as head coach. Not his best year. He had this team ranked number 1 in the country for a while, a few years back, but this season, St. Francis trying to outdo what they accomplished a year ago when they went to the second round of the NAIA National Tournament. Pulled off an upset of a 1 seed on their way there. They had a thrilling run through the conference tournament last year, and their late run was noticed by the pollsters as they began this season ranked number 19 in the country. Trying to show they are deserving of that ranking with a good showing in their season opener today. They trail by 3, starting to get late in the first half. Quasigrove hands it off to Ting. Eric Ting drives the baseline, shoves it off to Cherry, and Cherry couldn't get a handle on it. He has to pull it out and knock down a jumper. Nice recovery from Cherry after he missed out on an opportunity for a layup. He hits it from about 11 feet out. Watkins steps into a 3-pointer, misses it long. Rebound still loose, picked up by Richardson. Rashad Richardson goes back up with it and scores. Now the offense is picking up as the 2 teams trade buckets. Ting across half court, walks it back towards the center. Around a screen from Quasigrove, pulls up, passes outside to Misick. Misick drives around the screen, gets to the basket, reverse layup misses. Rebound Chris Robinson. Robinson working quickly down the floor. Looked like he was trying to hook up with Gibson on an alley-oop, but they were not on the same page, and he threw it away. 6th turnover of the game for Indiana Northwest. Lewis Holy comes back in for Josh Cherry. Jarrett Gamazel back on the floor. Eric Ting takes a seat. And Gamazel takes over the ball handling duties. On the right side of the floor, Jarrett Gamazel finds Cole Misick near the top. Around a screen from Quasigrove. Misick, 3-point attempt, no, but a foul. And now Cole Misick will get 3 free throws and a chance to tie the score. It's the 2nd time in this first half that Indiana Northwest has fouled a 3-point shooter. And both times it happened in a 3-point game with a chance to tie it up. Misick, one of the best free throw shooters in the country last year, hit him at 85%, and he makes the first shot here. 2 more attempts coming up. 2 in a row. St. Francis was one of the best free throw shooting teams in the nation last year. Shot them at 78% overall. A lot of their better shooters are back for another go as Mysick ties it up at 29. Cross half court, Marshad Watkins drives. Watkins lays it up and in. Indiana Northwest back in front. Every time St. Francis has tied the score, Indiana Northwest has taken the lead right back. Saints have not held the lead yet tonight. Bailey off to Quasigro on the right side, and a whistle blows. We're going the other way. Offensive foul on Lewis Holy. Turnover committed by St. Francis with exactly 5 minutes to play in the first half. Bailey putting some full court pressure on, but Indiana Northwest gets the ball in cleanly. Watkins across half court. Marshad Watkins, the area native from Oak Forest, Illinois, passes it off to Richardson. Rashad Richardson misses the three. The rebound goes to Holy. Bailey down the floor for Gamazel. Three-pointer. No good. Rebound to Bailey. Bailey steps inside, kicks it out to Quasigro. Quasigro thought about the three, bounces it to Holy instead, and Lewis Holy finishes with the layup. We're tied once again, 31-31. Jason Peace to the right of the basket. Bounces it to the baseline, and Watkins. Back out to Peace. Peace guarded by Gamazel. Pulls the ball down, passes up top, swung around to the left side. Corey Joyner gets his first touch, throws it up. It's knocked away, and St. Francis is able to take possession. Gamazel into the corner for Bailey. Saints can take their first lead of the night, but they don't. Bailey misses short on the three-pointer. We remain tied at 31 as Indiana Northwest takes over. Marshad Watkins, left wing. Watkins driving on Holy, steps it back and passes to Richardson. Richardson from the left side, drives into the lane, dishes it off. Watkins on the baseline, gets the bounce off the back of the rim and finds another 2 points. Indiana Northwest takes a 33-31 lead, and St. Francis calls timeout. Indiana Northwest has led pretty much the entire way. We've been tied at three separate junctures. St. Francis has never taken a lead. Indiana Northwest has been up by as many as 11 points in this first half. This timeout, correction, not called by St. Francis, but by Indiana Northwest. Just a 30-second timeout. They've been not shy about calling timeouts when they have been playing well. They've gone on a little run and stopped play anyway. Ryan Marks has not had to use any of his timeouts yet, which certainly could be a factor when we come down the stretch in this game, depending on how close we are at that point. Saints have done a good job of keeping it close lately. Took a big deficit out of the gate. Jordan Thornton came off the bench, brought him back in it. They've been close ever since, and after a rest with 2 fouls, Jordan Thornton back on the floor now. There's Jared Gamazel. Picks it off to Quasigro. Three-pointer is good, and the Saints take their first lead of the night, 34-33 on Mitch Quasigro's second made three-pointer this evening. Indiana Northwest gets it in against the press, nearly thrown away, but Peace keeps it in bounds. Over to Joyner on the drive. Joyner tries to bank it in, no, but the follow from Martell and Gibson goes. He's able to dunk it in. Ryan Marks calling for basket interference, does not get the call. Gamazel up top and around to the right side. Jordan Thornton. Thornton up top, Bailey. Bailey drives with the left hand, picks it up into the corner. Gamazel all alone for three. No good. Nobody in the same zip code there as Gamazel, and may have taken too much time. Here's Gibson on the drive, and the layup is good. Indiana Northwest takes the lead right back after they had trailed for the first time tonight. And Ryan Marks this time does take a timeout. 37-34. The Redhawks lead the Saints with 2.5 minutes to play in the first half. We've got a good one developing here. 10 points for Jordan Thornton, closely followed by Mitch Quasigro's 8, as those two have combined on more than half of St. Francis's scores today. Quasigro has been doing it from the outside. In fact, so has Thornton. Two of them are a combined 4 of 5 on three-pointers. The rest of the team 0 for 9 from the outside. And considering St. Francis really has not shot the ball well at all to open up today's game, you've got to like where they're sitting now, just 3 points behind, especially the way this game started. Saints are putting themselves in position, if nothing else, at least to make a run in the second half, even if they're not able to take the lead going into that second half. St. Francis, last season, 20-15 overall. They were seconds away from their season ending in late February, and a last-second three-pointer to send the final game of the season into overtime eventually led to a victory that got them into the conference tournament. And once they were in the conference tournament, they ran the table, got into the national dance, and they beat the number 1 seeded Oklahoma Wesleyan in the first round before succumbing to an Indiana school, Indiana East, way over on the other side of the state from Indiana Northwest. They made it into the final 16 last year. Mitch Quasigro has it for the Fighting Saints out of the timeout. He hands it off to Jordan Thornton. Thornton tries another three. This one bounces off the front of the rim and falls out. Rebound out of bounds, last touch by Indiana Northwest. First miss from the outside for Jordan Thornton today. Saints as a team now, just 4 of 15 on three-point attempts. Substitution for Indiana Northwest. Rashad Richardson checks back in. Jordan Thornton, the trigger man on the inbounds play, looking for Quasigro, but Richardson deflects it out of bounds. Stays with the Saints. 30 seconds on the shot clock. .29 seconds now on the shot clock. The officials decreed 1 second should have gone off there. Inbounded to Malik Bailey. Up to Jared Gamazel. He's got time to survey his action. Passes off to the right. Quasigro to Gamazel for three. A high arcer, misses short. Quasigro taps the rebound to Thornton. Thornton puts it back up from in the lane. No good. And a foul called on the loose ball. I think that's going against Jordan Thornton. It is not. It's on Mitch Quasigro. It was a loose ball foul. And so that allows Indiana Northwest to come down to the other side of the floor for the free throws. 1-and-1 coming up. Wholesale substitutions here for the Fighting Saints. Everybody checks out. Mysik, Ting, Ujemi, Tobias, and Holy are on the floor. Front end of the 1-and-1 is a miss from Peace. Some big free throws missed by Indiana Northwest today. That's been really the one hole in their game. They have not been good from the line. Lewis Holy dribbles to the right, picks it up and hands it to Ting. Eric Ting drives into the lane, pulls up, leaner, misses, but he's fouled. That shot went over the backboard, but he drew the contact as he fired it up. So Eric Ting is going to the free throw line for the first time. 1:40 to play in the first half. Ting's first free throw misses off the side iron. Neither team has been particularly proficient on free throws so far. Indiana Northwest just 1 of 4. St. Francis has been much better. 8 of 11. And on 9 of 12. So they are within 2. Free throws have really kept St. Francis in this game so far. +8 from the line as Ting strips the ball from Watkins. Holy dives on the floor and keeps it in bounds. Great work by Ting and Holy. Eric Ting works it off to the right side. Cole Mysik drives, dishes, and a foul called before Lewis Holy can get a handle on the ball. That foul goes against Indiana Northwest, and it gets the Saints back to the free throw line. Second foul called on Marshad Watkins. The foul was on the floor, but that's A double bonus now for St. Francis, so 2 shots coming up for Holy. First one is good. Holy's a perfect 3 for 3. He can tie the score on this next attempt. Jamison Smith comes on for the first time as Watkins heads to the bench for the Red Hawks. Holy's second free throw is good. So we're tied at 37. Saints now 11 of 14 at the free throw line. Jamison Smith passes around to the left side. This is Gibson. Gibson's pass nearly intercepted. They're able to hold on though. Peace. Fakes and travels. Traveling violation and a turnover. And the Saints have the ball with a minute to go in the half. Tie score. Here comes Ting. Eric Ting circles the basket, and he's called for the double dribble. Slight mishandle by Eric Ting and a turnover for the Fighting Saints. Ting didn't think so. The Saints give it up with 50 seconds to go in the half. Indiana Northwest has trailed for all of about 8 seconds this entire half. So they would like to score here and take the lead in a halftime. Peace for 3, got it. And now they are in excellent position to take the lead in a halftime. They'll most likely do it, as this is almost certainly going to be the Saints' last possession of the half, and possibly the last possession for either side this half. Just a 5-second difference between the shot and game clocks. Misick drives, throws it up, and draws the foul. Missed the shot off the backboard, but 2 free throws coming up for a good free throw shooter. .21 seconds to play in the half. 2 shots for Misick. He makes the first. Cole Misick has come up empty from the field so far, but he's got 4 points. All of them from the free throw line. Josh Cherry comes in. Lewis Holy sits down. 2 for 2. Saints are within 1, and the Red Hawks can take the last shot of the half. Jamison Smith lobs it off for Richard Robertson. Clock down to 11 seconds. Gibson back to Robertson. Robertson with 6 seconds starts to make his move. Cuts down the lane. Fires inside for Richardson. Not handled. Picked up by Smith at the buzzer. No good. The tip just before the buzzer sounded did not go. And so it's halftime. Indiana Northwest jumped out to a big early lead. St. Francis did not panic. They came back, took a brief advantage at one point. They were up by 1. But right now, as we head to the break, it's a 1-point lead for Indiana Northwest. They led for more than 19 minutes in the first half. And considering that, Fighting Saints have got to be feeling pretty good about the fact that they trail by just 1 heading into the second half of action. We'll have that second half in just about 15 minutes right now. I'm going to step aside. Back with the second half in a little bit. Indiana Northwest 40, St. Francis 39. Second half on the way here in Joliet. Indiana Northwest leads St. Francis 40-39. Quick look at the stat sheet from the first half of play. Indiana Northwest shot 52% from the field. St. Francis just 38%. Indiana Northwest 42% on threes, only 25% for St. Francis, just 4 of 16. And rebounds were dominated by the Red Hawks as well, 20-11. You look at those stats, you wonder how is St. Francis even in this game? Well, the key number, free throws, 13 of 16 from the free throw line. And Indiana Northwest just 1 of 4. So St. Francis plus 12 from the foul line. They've also had, they've done a pretty good job of protecting the ball. They've committed only 7 turnovers so far as we are underway in the second half. St. Francis gets the ball first, and they've flipped sides now going from left to right. Mitch Quasiro turns around, faces the basket, fires a jumper, and misses a little bit long. The rebound goes to the Red Hawks. Indiana Northwest scored the first 5 points in the first half, trying to strike first here in the second half as well, as Mitch Quasiro is called for a quick foul. St. Francis has held the lead in this game for exactly 15 seconds. They've spent not much more time than that tied. Probably a grand total of about a minute. Indiana Northwest has led the entire way, and yet their lead is only 1. Trying to extend it to 3. Watkins misses on the short-range jumper, and the rebound is tipped to Quasiro as the Saints start to run. Eric Ting gets inside the perimeter, shovels it out to Quasiro, who fires across court to Malik Bailey, and Bailey pulls it back to the midcourt circle, starts over. Here's Quasiro just inside the arc. Quasiro, backdoor cut for Malik Bailey. Bailey bounces it outside. Quasiro hits the 3. Great ball movement by the Fighting Saints, and they take their biggest lead of the night. They lead by 2, 42-40, a minute into the second half. Just the second time they've held the lead. Indiana Northwest will try to take it right back as they did in the first half. There's a drive from Watkins. Watkins gets trapped, but he gives the ball up. Looks like they're going to get a foul on St. Francis. He got trapped for a moment down underneath the basket. And then the whistle blew, like he either stepped on line or it may have been a carry, or a double dribble, but I don't think any of those were called. He was fouled. There's some discussion among the referees as well to determine what exactly this call is. Tonight's officials, Dan Dorian, Rob Kruger, and Kenneth Moreland get the situation taken care of. It's not a foul. Not sure what the call is. An inadvertent whistle, perhaps? I don't know. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Indiana Northwest has the ball. Inbounded into the corner. This is Robertson pulling it out with 4 to shoot. Robertson bounces down low. Turnaround with the right hand. No good from Tremont Weston. Offensive rebound, and Richardson is fouled on the putback. So 2 free throws coming up for Tremont Weston. Second foul already on St. Francis in this half. Richardson at the line rather than Weston, and Richardson makes the first free throw. Makes it a 1-point game. Richardson 5 of 6 on the year on free throws coming in. He makes the second here, so he's now 1 of 4 in this game. 2 of 4. Makes them both. Tied up at 42. Once again, St. Francis's lead was short-lived, but let's see if they can take another one right here. Cole Misick drives, pulls up the free throw line. Nice pass to the cutting Malik Bailey, and the Saints do move back in front, 44-42. Bailey tries to poke the ball away from Robertson, and Misick can't control it. He loses it out of bounds. Nice defense, just not quite able to finish the takeaway. Saints never took possession, though, so the shot clock does not reset. It's at 18 seconds as Indiana Northwest inbounds it once again. This is Robinson. To Watkins at the left elbow. Watkins guarded by Ting. Backs down, pulls up, passes to Weston. Weston stripped by Ting, and Ting takes it away. Eric Ting fires it ahead for Holy. Layup, no, but a foul called. And Lewis Holy's going to the free throw line. St. Francis can take their first 2-possession lead of the night with a couple of free throws right here. Foul is called on Chris Robinson. So third on Chris Robinson. First on the team. Holy went 4 for 4 from the line in the first half. And he makes the first free throw here. 9 points for Lewis Holy. He's got 3 rebounds. Jason Peace, junior guard, comes in. Sherman Weston and Chris Robinson with those 3 fouls heads out. Holy misses on the second free throw. Martellin Gibson is in right now for Indiana Northwest as well. Richardson drives to the basket and he gets bumped by Quasigro. So he's on his way to the free throw line. Third foul on Mitch Quasigro, so he's in a little bit of trouble right now. Quasigro's had a nice game out there offensively. But it looks like he's going to have to head to the bench for a little while as Richardson improves to 3 of 3 on free throws this half. Quasigro checks out with his third foul, and Joey Bajemi comes back in. Another made free throw. So things are starting to even out in the free throw competition. St. Francis had dominated those numbers in the first half. But now Indiana Northwest 4 of 4 from the line here in the second half, and Fighting Saints have gone just 1 of 2. Here's Eric Ting passing over to Bailey. Bailey, 3-pointer from the right side, well off to the right, and rebounded by Jason Peace. Indiana Northwest can take the lead back here, but they won't. Richardson is called for a travel as he grabbed the ball and slid. 3 minutes into the second half, it's been a little bit of a disjointed second half so far. A lot of stops and starts. But St. Francis is +2 on the scoreboard so far in the second half, which means they've got a 1-point lead for the game. At the left elbow, Bajemi puts the ball on the floor, hands it off to Mysick. Step back 3 for the senior Cole Mysick, no good. Rebounded by Lewis Holy. Eric Ting all alone for 3. It's good. Wide open look for Eric Ting. And now a steal. Mysick and Bailey jump in front of the pass, deflected over to Ting. No look pass to Holy. His layup is blocked, and he's calling for the goaltend. But Indiana Northwest takes it away, and Peace has an easy layup on the other end. Indiana Northwest is within 2. And Lewis Holy, I think, was right. That looked like a clear goaltend, but Holy gave up on the play because he thought there should have been a goaltend. If he had stayed in it, kept his head in the play, he probably would have gotten an offensive rebound and had a putback opportunity. Instead, he turned his back on the play, and it led to 2 easy points for Indiana Northwest. So a mistake by the official, but it leads to a mistake by Holy, and it costs the Saints a 4-point swing. Lead is still 2 for St. Francis. Timeout called. 48-46 is the score. And that was a big 2 points as well. Again, not just 2 points, but a 4-point swing for Indiana Northwest. They had started to reel a little bit, pull themselves back within a bucket. St. Francis will take the ball coming out of this 30-second timeout. Fighting Saints are starting to shoot the ball a little bit better. 2 of 4 from beyond the arc here in the second half, after they went just 4 of 16 in the first half. They've got the ball with Eric Ting in possession of it. Ting spins across half court. working on Richard Robertson. Looking for Bajemi, but it's intercepted. Jason Peace falls on top of it, wraps it up. Now we've got a tie-up. Possession arrows going the other way. A little miscommunication between the Saints on that play, and it leads to a turnover. Redhawks can tie or take the lead here. This is Robertson bouncing to the right side. And an offensive foul called on Jason Peace. A moving screen away from the ball. It's a turnover for Indiana Northwest. 15:48 to play in the game. And this disjointed second half has not joined any closer. We've seen 5 combined fouls called on the two teams. A couple of timeouts, some officials' discussions. Just not a lot of flow to the game right now as Jordan Thornton comes back in. And we also see the first appearance of Tyler Irvin. Irvin is the only freshman on St. Francis's roster. Getting his first collegiate action right now from Mantino. Driving, Ting, blocked by Richardson, gets it right back. Ting spins away from a double team. He's stuck. Now we've got another tie-up. This time the possession arrow favors St. Francis. Ting will be the trigger man on the inbounds play. Gets it into Bajemi, who bounces it outside the three-point arc. And towards the Saints logo, he bounces it over to Irvin. Irvin at the right elbow, gives it up to Bailey. Malik Bailey drives Bailey to the basket. He's fouled. As the shot clock was down to 1, Malik Bailey trying to get a quick shot off, heads to the free throw line for 2 attempts to get the Saints back in front by as many as 4 here. Malik Bailey's first free throw attempt of the season is good. Bailey's another guy who put up great numbers from the foul line for the Saints last year, 84%. He was one of 4 players on the roster to shoot better than 80% on free throws, and those were 4 of the highest volume free throw shooters as well. It wasn't guys off the bench. Bailey misses on the second attempt, so it's 49-46 St. Francis as the clock runs down close to 15 minutes to play. Here's Peace. Lobbing it inside. Tremont Weston backs in on Irvin. Puts it up off the backboard. Rolls around the rim. Does not fall. Offensive rebound. No from Gibson. Weston, third chance. He's fouled. Saints have not been good on the boards today. Indiana Northwest has dominated that phase of the game. 28 rebounds to 14 right now. And on the third chance, Indiana Northwest looking to pick up some points here. First free throw is good from Weston. Second chance points have favored Indiana Northwest 15-6. Josh Cherry back in for the Fighting Saints. Second free throw is good. In the first half, St. Francis was 13 of 15 on free throws. 13 of 16, rather. They're 2 of 4 in the second half. Indiana Northwest was just 1 of 4 from the free throw line in the first half. And they're now 6 for 6 in the second half as Gibson comes away with the steal, taking it from Malik Bailey. Indiana Northwest down on the other end, stripped away from Robertson. Loose ball, though, picked up by the Redhawks. Chris Robinson backs it up, resets with 17 on the shot clock. It's Gibson on the left wing. And a whistle before the drive. It's a foul on St. Francis, and it's underneath the basket, so well away from the play. but it's already the 5th team foul. This one goes on Irvin. Robinson looking to get it in, finds Peace up top. Peace tries the 3 in front of Ting. It's short. Offensive rebound again. Gibson draws the foul as Josh Cherry jumps clear over him. Made contact on the way down. So the Saints are already at the limit, not yet 6 minutes into the second half. Chris Robinson set to inbound. In the corner, finds a wide open teammate. Richard Robertson passes on the three-pointer, drives and lays it in instead. Indiana Northwest takes a 50-49 lead. Here's Ting. Swung around once again, Ting on the right wing. Up top, Malik Bailey. Into the corner, Thornton. Three-point attempt, no good. Jordan Thornton, red hot to start the game, has cooled off considerably. Hasn't scored since early in the first half, still has 10 points for the night. Here's Robertson. Richard Robertson misses badly on a 3. Jordan Thornton comes away with the rebound. Thornton hurrying down the floor, all the way to the basket. His layup is blocked out of bounds by Tremont Weston. Lewis Holy is back in for Tyler Irvin. Arnold Agard back on the floor as well, and with Carlos Tavares. Thornton and Cherry remain on the floor. The other 3 players change out. Holy gives it up to Agard. Saints trail by 1. Number 19 team in the country, playing their first game of the season. Lewis Holy gives it up to Agard. On the right wing, Josh Cherry tries the 3, in and out. Rebound brought in by Marshad Watkins. Gibson tries the three-pointer and hits it. 7 straight points for Indiana Northwest. And they've got a 4-point lead. They've been up by as many as 11, but Saints seem to have taken control of the game from that point on, and now Indiana Northwest trying to assert their control once again. Arnold Agard bounces it off the foot of Martellin Gibson. They'll reset the shot clock to 20 and inbound it from the sideline. Alex Constanders back in for Indiana Northwest, and Mitch Quasigro with 3 fouls back on the floor for the Fighting Saints. Nick Pacino comes on late for the Red Hawks. Thornton working to get it in, finally finds Arnold Agard. Quasigro, right elbow, guarded by Peace, hands it off to Agard. Agard circles, gets inside, kicks it into the corner. Thornton fakes the 3, out to Tobias for 3. Off the mark, rebound Pacino. Saints have gone cold once again. 12:15 on the clock. 4-point lead for the team with the ball. Indiana Northwest into the corner, Marshad Watkins. Watkins, guarded by Thornton, creates some space, steps back, and knocks down the jumper. Make it a 9-0 run for the Red Hawks. Here comes Agard. Quasigro on the left wing. Up top to Jordan Thornton. Thornton steps inside the arc. Long jumper is good. That's what got St. Francis back in the game when they trailed big in the first half. Jordan Thornton's shooting ability. He's got 12 points now. If he can get hot again, Saints can get back into this one quickly. They need a few stops, though. Down by 4 points. It's a close one. Pacino draws the contact and scores. And that's the 4th foul on Quasigro. Mitch Quasigro's had a nice game for St. Francis tonight, but he has struggled to stay out of foul trouble here in the second half. 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, but he's going to go to the bench, I would think, for a little while. Free throw is no good from Pacino. So he's not able to finish off a three-point play. Quasigro stays in the game. Agard to Tobias. He backs it outside the arc. Picks up his dribble, finds Agard on the right side. Agard drives, kicks to Thornton. Thornton steps back outside, 6 on the shot clock. Jordan Thornton, another long two from the same spot, and he hits it in Pacino's face once again. Almost a carbon copy of the previous possession. Saints again are within 4, and a foul called on St. Francis. They're calling it tight here in the second half. The 8th team foul, and that means 1-1 here for Marshad Watkins. Indiana Northwest was not able to take advantage of their 1-1 chances in the first half. They missed the front end both times. Marshad Watkins does not make the same mistake here. 58-53, Indiana Northwest. Watkins getting his first free throw attempts of the year, and he makes 1 of 2. Lewis Holy comes down with the rebound. Trailing by 5 with St. Francis possession, 10:40 on the clock. Arnold Agard passes to the left side. Carlos Tobias hands it right back. Now the cutter Tobias, but it's deflected and knocked away. A steal for Indiana Northwest. And an offensive foul this time as Rashad Richardson lowers his shoulder into the chest of Lewis Holy. And that's the 4th foul this half on the Redhawks. Josh Cherry, Cole Mysick back in the game for the Fighting Saints. Saints would like to see Mysick heat up. Deadly sharpshooter at times last year. He's not had much success from the field so far today. Jordan Thornton, Mitch Quasigro provided the brunt of the offense. Eric Ting had a good run there late in the first half, early second half as well. But if you take away Quasigro and Thornton's 9 field goals, the rest of the team has just 7. This is Jordan Thornton in possession, outside, near the left sideline. Thornton starts to drive to the right, kicks it out to Cherry. Cherry pulls up inside the arc, dishes to Quasigro. Quasigro turns around, banks it in. Marshad Watkins hit the ground trying to draw the 5th foul call against Mitch Quasigro. Did not get the call, and it left an open lane. Tobias pokes the ball away. He dives across half court, tries to pull it in, but he slid onto the sideline out of bounds. So it'll go back to Indiana Northwest. Or did he keep possession? I think he kept possession and called a timeout. So my mistake there. Great play to keep the game alive, or keep possession alive, as the game halts with 9:44 to go in the second half. St. Francis trails by just 3 points, and they'll have the ball thanks to a great defensive effort by Carlos Tobias. The Saints will have a chance to tie the score potentially on this possession. St. Francis trailed by as many as 11 in the first half. They've led by as many as 4 in the second half. But ever since moving ahead 50-49, Indiana Northwest has been able to keep their distance. They went on a 9-0 run, captured a 6-point lead at one point. Back down to 3 right now. Saints are trying to steal one from Indiana Northwest today on a day that they have not shot well as a team. Josh Cherry bounces to Jordan Thornton, cutting along the baseline. Thornton pulls it back outside. Cole Mysick backs it up to the center court logo. Over to Thornton. Thornton gets a screen, passes back to Mysick, left side. There's a drive from Cole Mysick. Layup in traffic is good. Beautiful drive, Cole Mysick. And the Saints trail by only 1 point. This is Robertson. Over to Richardson on the right side. Richardson guarded loosely. Swung around to the right side, or the left side rather. Back up top, Richard Robertson. 9 seconds to shoot. Peace across court. Richardson, open three from long range, a little bit short. The follow misses, and now the ball is loose and knocked out of bounds. Last touched by Indiana Northwest. And now the call has been reversed. It will be Indiana Northwest basketball with 20 seconds on the shot clock. A fresh shot clock for the Red Hawks after they missed on 2 previous attempts on this possession. Ball lobbed in back towards half court. Richard Robertson pulls it in, lobs it in for Richardson. Richardson creates some space against Cherry. He misses the shot but draws the foul. 2 free throws coming up for Rashad Richardson. Richardson was Indiana Northwest's leading scorer in their season opening win against Aquinas College on Saturday night at home. He had 22 points in that game. He makes the first free throw here. Tonight, Rashad Richardson's got a team-high 14, one of 3 players in double figures for the Red Hawks. He misses the second free throw. So still just a 2-point game. Saints can tie or take the lead here. 8:40 to play, second half. We've had a very tight second half after it looked early on like Indiana Northwest might pull away in the first half. It's been close ever since. Misick for the lead. Short on the three-pointer. Long rebound goes out to Indiana Northwest, and a whistle blows. Foul, I think, called on St. Francis is Jason Peace. Jason Peace was knocked to the ground. Foul on St. Francis, and 2 free throws coming up for the Red Hawks. The team's 10th foul. Second one on Cole Misick. Jason Peace gets his first free throw attempts of the year. He makes the first. Second foul shot from Peace. It's good. 2 for 2. Indiana Northwest back on top by 4. 2-possession game once again. The Red Hawks now 10 of 12 from the free throw line in this second half, and they erased their deficit and moved back in front largely because of that number. Mitch Quasigro inside is fouled. Quasigro's been out on the floor with 4 fouls for a long time. He has avoided picking up the 5th, and he's continued to play well. Quasigro's got 2 free throws coming his way. He misses on the first. Saints have not been as strong on their free throw shooting in the second half. 2 for 5. Quasigro still can make it a 1-score game by making the second shot, and he does. 14 points for Mitch Quasigro. That leads the team. It's tied with Jordan Thornton anyway for the team high. Richardson on the right side, guarded loosely by Quasigro. Passes out to Robertson. 3-point attempt. Rims out. Rebound to Josh Cherry. Here come the Saints. It's Eric Ting on the drive and dish to Quasigro for the tie. He got it. We're tied at 61. 7.5 minutes to play, second half. Mitch Quasigro's got 17. Last season for the Fighting Saints, Quasigro in a reserve role averaged 5.5 points per game. Evident early on he's going to have a bigger scoring role in his second season with the Fighting Saints. Knocked out of bounds, last touched by the Red Hawks. Saints basketball, they can take the lead back. Indiana Northwest out of sync on that possession. Pass was deflected out. Here's Eric Ting walking across the timeline. Over to Misick. Josh Cherry swings it around. Left side, Ting. Ting drives to the left. Fires it outside. An open shooter. Misick hits the three. And we've got a foul on Indiana Northwest away from the shot. Count the basket and the foul. And the Saints lead by 3 with a free throw coming up. (64-61). Misick hits his first three-pointer of the night. He's got 8 points for the game. Where was that foul? It was not on the shooter. Foul was away from the ball, underneath the basket. I didn't see who they gave the foul to. It's an inbounds play. It's only the 6th foul, so it's not a free throw. Saints get to keep possession. They could turn this potentially into a 5 or a 6-point play. Here's Ting. So the next one will put St. Francis on the free throw line. Quasigro, left elbow, gives it up to Ting. Ting, nice fake, drives, misses on the runner. Rebound to Indiana Northwest. So the Saints settle for 3 points on the possession, but they'll get it right back as a mistake by Rashad Richardson turns the ball over. He carried it in the backcourt, and the Saints take right back over. 6.5 minutes to go. 3-point lead for St. Francis. Their biggest lead of the game has been 4. Lewis Holy comes in for Mitch Quasigro. Misick inbounds to Ting. Josh Cherry at the free throw line. Looks to his right, hands off to Ting. 10 seconds off the shot clock. Ting fires a 3, no good. Holy battling for the rebound, goes over the back of Jason Peace. Loose ball foul called against St. Francis's big man. We're going down to the other way for 2 free throws. And that is the 4th foul, I believe, on Lewis Holy. So now he and Quasigro both have 4. The first free throw is good from Peace. So that could be a big problem for St. Francis. Those are their starting big men, both with 4 fouls. Second free throw good from Peace. It's a 1-point game. And after a very quick rest, Quasigro comes right back in. He gets Lewis Holy. Holy was only on the floor for less than a minute. Ryan Marks apparently a little bit more comfortable with the senior Quasigro playing with 4 fouls rather than the junior Lewis Holy. Here's Eric Ting walking it slowly up the floor. Ting bounces over to Quasigro, top of the key. Quasigro looking around, hands it off to Bailey. 3-point attempt. Little too strong. Josh Cherry tips the rebound out of bounds. We're going the other way. And Indiana Northwest has a chance to reclaim the lead here. (64-63). This second half has been extremely close. Here's a drive from Watkins. Watkins misses on the layup. Rebound tipped out to Ting. Ting down the floor to Misick. 1-on-1 against Gibson. He misses off the glass, and the rebound goes to Chris Robinson. Now Indiana Northwest wants to run. Richardson inside, finds Peace. Peace scores over Quasigro, and Indiana Northwest is back in front. 6th lead change. We've seen 6 ties. Almost all of those lead changes have occurred here in the second half. Cole Misick stumbles, picks up his dribble, passes it out to Cherry, gives it right back to Misick. Shot clock under 10. Misick cuts back to the left, gets to the basket, lays it up, misses, but draws the foul. A good drive from Cole Misick. Couldn't quite finish amidst the contact. But back to the free throw line as Chris Robinson is charged with his 4th foul. It's the 7th on the team, so St. Francis in the bonus now, but they'll get 2 shots for this one. And Misick's first attempt is good. We're tied. One more coming up for the senior guard. 4:59 on the game clock as Misick tries to give St. Francis the lead back. He does just that. 2 for 2 from the line. He's got 10 points. St. Francis by a point. Marshad Watkins for the Redhawks. Swings it around to the right corner. Peace gets it back outside. Robertson to Gibson. Gibson drives, and Gibson is fouled. That foul goes on Eric Ting. Martellin Gibson's been relatively quiet today for Indiana Northwest. He posted a double-double in the season opener, 17 points, 11 rebounds. He's got 11 points, 5 boards today, and he's at the free throw line. First shot ties the score again. It's our 8th tie today. Gibson makes them both. So now it's Indiana Northwest back in front. It's been a seesaw second half. Eric Ting gets inside the arc. Ting all the way to the basket. He's fouled. An aggressive drive from Eric Ting, and he goes to the free throw line. So now the two teams are just trading free throws. Forget about trading baskets as they were doing a little bit earlier. Each team taking their turn at the line. And Eric Ting's got 2 shots coming his way. We've already seen 45 combined free throws in this game, and I think we'll probably see a lot more by the time all is said and done, considering how close this is. We're tied yet again. Before Eric Ting's second shot, a whistle blows. So we've had so many whistles here in the second half. They're coming even before free throws. This was a lane violation on St. Francis. So Ting has to settle for going 1 for 1 from the line, and we'll have to settle for a tie score. 67 all. Indiana Northwest basketball, 4:23 on the clock. Richardson up top, guarded by Cherry. Passed off to the right side. Drive from Joyner. Joyner floats it up off the glass and in. First points of the night for the sophomore Corey Joyner. This is Malik Bailey on the left side, down by 2. Lobbed into Quasigrove. Quasigrove turns around, fakes. Couldn't get Richardson high enough in the air. Now he drives, makes a nice move around Richardson and lays it up and in. We're tied at 69. Quasigrove has got 19 to lead all scorers. A trap in the corner, but Robertson gives it up. Find Gibson, now Joyner on the drive. Joyner misses on the layup. Cherry gets the rebound and the Saints will run. Ting pulls up at the three-point line. Now turns on the Jets. Shovels it off to Cherry, who misses on the layup. Here come the Redhawks. Joyner blocked underneath the basket by Jordan Thornton. Redhawks get it right back. 3-ball, no good from Peace. Tapped out towards the sideline. Out of bounds, St. Francis ball. A wild pace over the last couple of minutes. Neither team able to convert on their opportunities as Cherry missed on the layup. Thornton bailed him out with the block on the other end. Peace missed the 3, and now it's St. Francis basketball from the sideline. Lewis Holy back in. Holy and Quasigrove both playing with 4 fouls with just 3 minutes to go in regulation. 69-69 tie. Ting lobbed over to Quasigrove. Long 3. Good. Mitch Quasigrove stays hot. Saints lead by 3. Huge game in the season opener for Mitch Quasigrove today as he's over 20 points. Lewis Holy jumps the passing lane and steals it. Saints slow it down. They'll take their time trying to set up this possession, looking to take a 2-score lead, something they have scarcely done today. Eric Ting on the left side of the floor. Bounces it back towards half court with Robertson nearby. Now Ting drives, pulls up just beyond the free throw line, gives it up to Bailey. Bailey bounces low for Holy. Didn't get possession immediately. Now gets it back, and he's called for a blocking foul. Lewis Holy got to the basket. Probably would have preferred that foul wasn't called on Jason Peace. He's trying to draw the 5th foul of Lewis Holy. May have hit the ground with a little bit more force than he needed to. And he was called for the blocking foul, so a misguided attempt there by Peace. And Lewis Holy goes to the line. Foul is on the floor, so it's a 1-and-1. 2:09 to play. Lewis Holy's got 9 points this evening. And he'll stay at 9 as he misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Costly miss for St. Francis. Here come the Red Hawks. Robertson to Richardson. Richardson trying to get Quasigro in the air, drives and kicks. Back out to Robertson. Richard Robertson around Ting, draws the contact, and a block is called on Ting before the shot. Shot does not count. Richard Robertson is going to the free throw line to take 2 free throws. A minute 50 to go. First attempt from Robertson is good. 72-70. One of two, an offensive rebound for Weston, although he can't pull it in cleanly. Now it's loose and brought down by St. Francis. Jordan Thornton on the run. Thornton takes it all the way inside and lays it in. Saints by 4, matching their biggest lead tonight. Huge turnaround after a near offensive rebound. Thornton takes it all the way to the other end and extends the Saints' lead. Here's Richardson driving from the left side. Ting reaches in. It's a held ball. Possession stays with the Red Hawks, but a nice defensive play by Eric Ting to force the possession arrow to turn back the other way. Marshad Watkins is the inbounder here with 15 seconds on the shot clock. They need to wipe up a wet spot on the floor before we continue. St. Francis 74, Indiana Northwest 70. The Red Hawks have led the majority of the way. This is the biggest lead that St. Francis has had tonight. Lewis Holy continues to wipe up that wet spot on the floor. Free throws have been a huge part of the second half of this game. Indiana Northwest has kept themselves alive mostly from the line. They have not shot the ball all that well in the second half after they were hot for most of the first half. Here's Richardson, and Richardson travels. Right off of the inbounds play, Richardson called for the walk, and the Saints get it back with 80 seconds to go, leading by 4. Mitch Quasigro will inbound to Eric Ting, and Indiana Northwest will put on a little full court pressure here. Saints bring some help down the floor. We're ready to go. Quasigro finds Malik Bailey, and the Red Hawks back up. Bailey's had a quiet game, but so far they haven't needed him as they have the lead late. Bailey gives it to Quasigro. He's had a very loud game, especially here in the second half. Quasigro backs down, passes into the corner for Bailey. Bailey drives the baseline, lays it up. No. Offensive rebound, Holy, and the putback is good. 6-point lead for St. Francis. Fighting Saints are on a 7-1 run at a crucial time. Here's Richardson, the leaner, misses, but Weston is there with the follow. He throws it in, makes it a 4-point game. Timeout called by Indiana Northwest. 44.8 seconds on the clock, and St. Francis leads by 4. They'll have the ball coming out of the timeout. Mitch Quasigro, 22 points, leads all scorers tonight. Jordan Thornton has 16 for the Fighting Saints, and it'll be interesting to see what Indiana Northwest strategy is coming out of this timeout. One would imagine they'll put the full court pressure back on as they did on the last possession, and considering there's only a 15-second difference between the shot and game clocks here, you might have to consider fouling in a 4-point game. Probably still a little bit too early for that, but St. Francis, if they're able to milk the clock and then put in a three-pointer, that might do it for the game. So Indiana Northwest has got to be very careful on this possession. They really cannot afford to see St. Francis eat up a lot of time and score. That would be lethal to the visiting team. Indiana Northwest came in with a 1-0 record, trying to pull off an early season upset, though the preseason rankings don't really mean a whole lot because nobody really knows how good anybody's going to be, especially you look at this St. Francis team and all the transfers they've got, all the new players. It really would be impossible to determine how good they are coming into the season. Still, a lot of good returning players as well. They were given the number 19 ranking, but they did not play like it coming out as Indiana Northwest jumped out to a big lead. The Saints have recovered. They're up by 4. Just a light press for Indiana Northwest here. Saints have to hurry, though. Jordan Thornton gets it over half court with just 1 second to spare. So now they'll run some clock. Thornton bounces to Lewis Holy outside the three-point arc. Holy takes it up top, looks for Quasigro. He's got him, and Quasigro is called for an offensive foul, I think. Or no, Richardson they got on defense. Foul is called on Indiana Northwest, and that's the last thing they wanted to do at that point. If they're going to foul, they would prefer to have done it 20 seconds ago. Mitch Quasigro to the free throw line. Quasigro, by the way, throughout this great second half, has been playing with 4 fouls for the last 12 minutes or so. Has not picked up the 5th, and he's up to 23 points for the game. 22 seconds to go. Second free throw for Quasigro is good. It's a 6-point lead for St. Francis and a timeout call. 22 seconds to go. Indiana Northwest will take the ball down by 6 with 22 seconds left. It's going to be a tall order for them to complete this comeback here. And St. Francis certainly does not want to foul defensively here, but they don't want to give up anything quickly. Whatever Indiana Northwest gets, as long as the Fighting Saints make them work for it, take some time off the clock, the Saints will still be in great shape. As I was saying before, St. Francis came into today ranked number 19. They are one of 2 ranked teams in the CCAC to start this year. The other, number 11, Olivet Nazarene, the top-ranked squad in the conference. It'll be a long time before the Saints get a chance to square off against Olivet. They don't see each other until February. It's always weird, though, to start the season with a conference game. They will not continue conference play this weekend. Fighting Saints actually don't play this weekend. Their next game on the road on Monday at that same Aquinas College that fell to Indiana Northwest in a tight contest last Saturday night. Indiana Northwest finished that one off with a 77-73 victory. And then it's back to conference play for the Fighting Saints. Here we go, out of the timeout, 22 seconds to go. Saints put on a little light pressure just to slow down the Red Hawks a little bit. Watkins gets all the way to the basket, misses on the layup, but a foul called on St. Francis, so the Red Hawks will get a pair of free throws here. So like I said, they didn't want the Red Hawks to get anything too fast. It took them 7 seconds. It looked for a moment like they had to stop. The foul was actually not called on the shot. It was called on the rebound. But it's 2 free throws anyway as Robertson misses the first. That is a costly miss. 6-point game. 15 seconds to play. One more shot coming from Richard Robertson, who's got 6 points tonight. Just 1 of 3 from the foul line. 1 of 4, actually. Now 2 of 5 as he makes the second. 78-73, and now with just 15 seconds left. Another timeout called, a 30-second timeout. As the Saints inbound here, you can bet that Indiana Northwest will be fouling immediately, and the timeout has been extended. Make it a full timeout now. 78-73. Saints trailed for the entire first half, save for 15 seconds. The second half has been a lot tighter. It's been back and forth. Indiana Northwest has led by as many as 6 points here in the second half. Saints did not lead by more than 4 until about 40 seconds ago in game time. And now they're ahead by 5 points. I mentioned it before. A year ago, this was one of the top free throw shooting teams in the country. Today being the first game of this season, not a whole lot of data, but they are 21 of 28 from the line so far tonight. Not so good in the second half. They're just 8 of 12. Which I guess is not half bad. That's 75% itself. Must be miscounting somehow. So they were a little bit better than 75% in the first half. Anyway, it is St. Francis basketball. They're in the double bonus. If Indiana Northwest can't get an immediate steal, they'll have to foul. Quasigro to inbound. He finds Eric Ting. And the Redhawks are not fouling. Richardson lets Ting blow by him. And now finally across half court, he is fouled by Robertson, but it took him 6 seconds. And that delayed foul may have just cost him the game. Now, even if they fouled right away, it's a 5-point game with Ting at the free throw line and maybe 13, 14 seconds to go. It'd still be a long shot for Indiana Northwest, but by letting 6 seconds go by, they may have just cost themselves their last opportunity. Although Ting does miss the first free throw. So that means regardless of what happens on this second one, it will still be a 2-score game. No more. Second free throw from Ting. Misses as well. Richardson grabs the ball, and he's not in any hurry at all. Robertson hurrying now down the floor, and he's fouled, but with just 2.8 seconds left, this game appears to be just about over. I don't know, Rashad Richardson has been playing this last minute as though they've got all the time in the world. He didn't foul with 15 seconds left, and then after getting the rebound on that free throw, he just stood there for a few seconds. Robertson's got 2 chances from the line. And he misses the first, and that should do it. Indiana Northwest's only real chance prior to that was to make both free throws, get a steal, and hit a 3. Now I guess their only chance to make this free throw, get a steal, hit a 3, and get fouled in the process. He makes the second. It's a 4-point game, 2.8 on the clock. Indiana Northwest needs that steal. They need a 3-pointer, and they need to get fouled on it. Quasigro into Jordan Thornton, and that'll wrap it up. No foul coming from Indiana Northwest. St. Francis comes away with a 78-74 victory. Was not always easy tonight for the Fighting Saints, but they come out on top with a strong finish. After struggling from the field earlier in the game, they were able to come up with some big shots in the second half. They were able to come up with some big stops when they needed them as well. And they improved their record to 1-0 to start this season. A quick look at some of the final stats. Indiana Northwest outshot St. Francis 47% to 41. On threes, they were a little better as well, 33% to 31%. St. Francis, 70% on free throws, 21 of 30. Indiana Northwest, 67%. They were 18 for 27. Saints were out-rebounded 38 to 23, but they committed just 11 turnovers compared to 20 for the Red Hawks. Leading scorer tonight, Mitch Quasigro, 24 points. He had 5 rebounds and 3 assists as well. Lewis Holy finished with 11 points and 8 rebounds, just shy of a double-double. And Jordan Thornton had 16 points, 10 of them in an impressive stretch in the first half that got the Saints back in the game after they had trailed by 11. Indiana Northwest was led by Jason Peace and Rashad Richardson, who each had 14 points. Martell and Gibson finished with 13, 12 for Marshad Watkins. Like in our final score, St. Francis 78, Indiana Northwest 74. Always nice to start your season with a win, especially when it's in conference. Fighting Saints 1-0 in CCAC play. Indiana Northwest falls to 0-1 in the CCAC, 1-1 overall. Fighting Saints will head to the road on Monday. They'll be up in Michigan taking on Aquinas College, and then on Wednesday, back to conference play, they'll take on Calumet St. Joseph a week from today. That is a 7 o'clock start time against the Crimson Wave. That's going to do it for today's broadcast. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves in a 78-74 St. Francis victory. Until next time, this is Sari Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Good night, all.